Hello there, everybody. I hope you're doing well. It's Captain Shandy here. If you've been here before, you're probably wondering what's happened to my art style. And if you're new, welcome. But I just wanted to do this particular video today. When I do my normal videos, it takes some time to obviously edit them and put them together with the art style. I'm a little bit busy. I'm putting some bits together for you guys in the coming weeks, so keep an eye out for that stuff. But despite not really having the time to go through the editing process and really write a proper script about this, I just thought, I'd come and vent to the camera. So apologies, because obviously you're not usually used to seeing my face in motion and without any filters or without any comic book style drawings. So apologies for that. I appreciate it's not the best thing in the world to look at, but it's only for a few minutes. I just wanted to go on a little bit of a rant and for you guys to hear me out. So despite being quite busy this last week or so, I have been on the internet. And there seems to be, I've noticed it for a while now. There seems to be a real nihilistic view about humans and humanity as a whole, but we'll go into more of that in a moment. But there's this culture thing, this fashionable trait to hate the UK and to hate Britain because we voted Tory and because of imperialism in the 16th and 17th century, as if, you or I or anybody fucking else has got any control over what happened 300 fucking years ago. And that basically everything that we do, we're inherently racist, the rest of the world hate us, and we don't care about the environment. We voted in Tories because we hate the poor, even though half the country is pretty poor, and that we're just bad people and that Britain's just a bad place to live. One of the reasons that people specify that Britain's a bad place to live is the ways that we're supposedly keeping migrants who have crossed the channel in the conditions they're being kept in whilst we process them. And so in one sense they're going, look how bad we are for stopping these migrants. We should have open borders, we should welcome them with open arms, and we'll get into the reasons why we can't do that in a moment. But the hypocrisy being that the next sentence they're going, Britain's a shit country. Well, if it's shit, why the fuck do all these people want to come here? Now you're going to say, well, they're coming from war, which is fair enough. But there isn't a war in France, and there isn't a war in Belgium, and there isn't a war in Sweden, and there isn't a war in Germany, and there isn't a war in Italy. Yet they've come through most of these countries to get here. So surely that gives you a little bit of an inclination that the view of Great Britain and the UK around the world is one where it's a good place to live. And there's a number of reasons that it's a good place to live, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, it's a country where we have capitalism as our economy, which means that if you have a good idea and you work hard, you can create it, you can put it into the market, you can make money, you can use that money to employ people, you can expand your business. Or if that's not what you want to do, if you want a more straightforward lifestyle, you can go and work for somebody else and you can negotiate how much they pay you depending on how efficient you are at the job and how skillful you are and conscientious and whatnot, and what you've given to the company and your experience over the years, etc, 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 etc. Essentially it gives you the liberty and the freedom to do what it is that you want to do. That might include taking risk, and it might not always go right for you, but it doesn't mean that that's anybody else's fault, and it doesn't mean that it's even necessarily your fault as such. Maybe the wrong idea at wrong time, wrong job at the wrong time. There's always another opportunity to try again. That's the wonderful thing about this country. The other thing that makes me laugh about it is that we've got freedom of speech here, right? So that's a good thing, yeah? Even despite all this cancel culture and stuff, even most of the progressives and certainly liberals do agree that free speech is important, but there are some that have got this idea that everything needs to be cancelled. And so they're using their free speech that this country gives them to degenerate the country. Which is fair enough, but don't you see the irony in that? The very fact that you're able to criticise this country and to criticise the government, to criticise the people in power, to criticise the people that live here, to criticise our history and our culture is because you have free speech. There's a load of countries around the world, and certainly throughout history, where you couldn't do that because you'd end up in jail or fucking worse. So the fact that you're able to complain about the country is an indictment in itself of the freedoms and the liberty that you have. We have, gay marriage, freedom of speech, Anybody can adopt kids as long as they're sensible, no matter their sexual orientation or what have you. We have different groups for different people. So, you know, just a little bit of gratitude is what I'm saying for everything that you've got. Of course, our history isn't perfect. Nobody's is. But we are the people that are here today, and we are doing our best. And, you know, we want to help other people and the refugees and people that are poor, etc. But socialism and cancel culture and open borders are not the fucking way to do that. Your heart may be in the right place, but it won't work. It's proven not to have worked before. Okay, so as I say, despite your intentions may be good, they maybe not be. I'm not convinced at all that everybody on the left has good intentions. I think there's a lot of narcissists out there, and we'll go into more depth about that in future videos and some of the stuff that I'm preparing. But there is a lot of good people as well, unlike what the left would have you believe, in that everybody on the right is a bad person. I consider myself centrist. Okay, I try and look at both objectively. I've obviously got my own biases, can't help that, human being. But what I can say is the very fact that so many people want to come to this country, the very fact that you're able to criticise this country, the very fact that you're free and that you're not, most people in this country aren't living below the poverty line, the very fact that you've got a roof over your head, social security system, NHS, travel, cities, wastage systems, all these things are almost miracles. If you look at the rest of the animal world, they don't have these. You know, they don't even have anything near it. Even the most intelligent species can't touch us when it comes to what we're able to technologically evolve, and the societies that we can evolve, and the cultures that we can evolve. You know, so there's been countless examples in the past where things have gone far fucking worse than this, where things have gone drastically wrong, and it's usually cost millions of lives. Okay, look up Mao's China, look at the Nazis. Okay, these aren't things that we should just casually wander back into. Right, as Diane Abbott might tell you, well, making the case for Mao. You can't make a case for a man that's responsible for the death of 60 million people just because his political views aren't too dissimilar for yours. In fact, maybe that means that you should take a good, long, hard look at yourself. You know, if you're openly endorsing and wanting to take people down a route where a dictator of a socialist, communist regime isn't absolutely deplorable, but the UK in itself is, I don't know where we go from there. Like, you know, all I want is just for people to have a little bit of gratitude. The world's in a better state than it's ever been before. Less people are poor and dying of poverty than it's ever happened before. Technology is more advanced than it ever has been before. We're kinder to each other and more accepting of different people and different lifestyles and different personal choices than we have been before. Generally, the liberal look at life, the way I look at life, if you're not hurting me and if you're not hurting anybody that I care about, you crack the fuck on. I don't care what you do, but we just don't want to take responsibility for anything. We want to tell everybody that country's shit, that white people are shit, that British people are shit, we're all racist, we're all part of the empire and imperialism, and you know, we don't fucking hold Germans still responsible. We don't call them Nazis, do we? Still, because it was, I mean, that was under 100 years ago. They're not expected to still be responsible for that, but yet British people are still being held responsible for imperialism and colonisation. That was 200, 300, 400 years ago. You know, it's just, there's all these hypocrisies all over the place. It's like when obviously we've got the BLM movement and stuff now. When a white man kills a black man, then silence is violence. Apparently, every white man should be made to feel guilty for it. I don't agree with that. I don't hold every Muslim responsible for the actions of a very few Muslim terrorists. That's unreasonable. That's racist. That's out of order. You shouldn't do that. People are individuals. You can't hold them responsible for what other people did just because they share the same skin colour. Like, for fuck's sake, you'd have thought we were past all this years ago, years and years ago, but apparently, no, there's another election coming, so the left have to bring it up again, and that means because there's an election coming in America, it affects us here in the UK as well, as they stir up all their little compassionate, virtue signalling, woke, liberal lefties where feelings come before facts. I mean, I could go on, people, I really could, but I've got stuff to do for you. So, you know, I'm going to leave it there for the time being, but you know, I just want to say, you know, be grateful for how lucky you are. Another rhetoric that comes out is the only difference between the immigrants, refugees, and us is luck. And you're right, that is exactly right. And we are very fucking lucky. So let's maybe show a little bit of appreciation for that going forward, shall we? But thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this video. If you did like it, please give me a like and a subscription, and there's other videos available on the channel as well that are more of my usual style. If you're curious, or if that's what you prefer, go and take a look at those. I'll pop some on the screen for you at the end here. But in the meantime, thank you very much for your time. Okay, stay safe, be sensible, much love.